If we compare the European Convention of Human Rights in the current constitution and the set out possible lawful limitations, then we register that in the text of constitutional amendments, restrictions of human rights present bigger opportunities. Particularly if in the current constitution and practice we have lawful limitations of human rights restricted by the government within defined boundaries, with the aim of protecting competing interests justified in a free and democratic society. In the offered draft of constitutional amendments, the lawful limitations justified in a free and democratic society have been omitted. In case of reasonable limitations clauses of human rights justified in a free and democratic society, it is always estimated and balanced in the context as to how necessary they are and how big is the demand for them from the civil majority. In cases when the need of limitation caused is not conditioned by the social oppression and by the pressure of civil society, we believe that the state will have the opportunity of unlawful interference through its agents in human rights, particularly in the human rights to freedom of speech, religion, and all those freedoms for limiting which stronger limitation clauses are foreseen. For example, in the 31st article of the constitutional draft, which is on the human right to private life, it is set out that in certain cases, in the interests of the state, according to the Convention upon Human Rights to Private Family Life, interference should be executed by means of limitation clauses. Current draft offers limitation clauses in accordance with the law for one or more of the following legitimate aims: the interests of national security, the interests of public safety, or the economic well-being of the state, protection of the rights and freedoms of others. This is a new approach. In the current constitution, we do not have the notion of economic well-being of state. We also do not have such a notion set out in the corresponding limitation clause of the European Convention, and we have also not seen it precedent in the European Court. It is the result of such interpretations that we are concerned that in the future, for example, any incident can be interpreted as necessary basis for economic well-being of the state, and illegitimate interference in the human right to private life can be executed. The same basis is foreseen, for example, in the 42nd article on the same basis of the proposed constitutional draft, where for the limitations of the right to freedom of expression and mentioned basics are presented. For example, for the public safety, the protection of human rights and public morals, as well as the protection of economic well-being of the country. Here also the concerns are actual, since the abstractly formulated expressions can receive more tangible material expression due to various interpretations by the state. The current constitution does not contain such an approach, instead gives a specific limitation base. For example, it is stated that such limitations can be implemented only when provided by law, and already by certain laws we have clear bases using which the limitations of given rights and freedoms can be practically implemented. As a result, if the state interferes with our human rights to freedom of speech, it can later be explained that it was necessary for ensuring the economic well-being of the state. In general, the proposed constitutional draft is concerning due to the proposed constitutional chapters, particularly in the context of the changing governing system. In that case, there will be less and weaker power balancing and inter-restraining mechanisms.